Every human life begins as a blank page, but not a powerless one. Every heart carries an invisible pen, writing its story with the ink of belief. You may not see it, you may not feel it at first, but from the moment you begin to think, from the moment your mind forms the first image of what is possible, your belief begins shaping the path beneath your feet. The world does not bend to wishes, but it does respond to belief. Your environment, your relationships, your opportunities, they are mirrors reflecting what you hold as truth inside. If you believe you are broken, the world will hand you fragments. If you believe you are destined for greatness, the world will reveal doors no one else can see. This is not philosophy for philosophers. This is not a slogan for posters. This is the brutal, beautiful law of the mind. Every empire ever built, every breakthrough ever made, every fortune ever forged began not in reality but in belief. Before Edison held the light bulb, he held the belief that darkness could be broken. Before Ford built engines that moved a nation, he built a belief that ordinary men deserved power on wheels. Before Carnegie built industries that shaped an era, he built a belief that wealth was a mindset before it was a bank account. And before you rise, before you transform, before you break the walls that cage you, you too must build your belief like they did, not weakly, not half-heartedly, but with conviction that refuses to die. Belief is not a thought. It is not a wish. It is not a whisper in the dark. Belief is a choice carved into your soul like stone. It's a declaration to yourself and the universe that this is who I am. This is where I'm going, and I will not stop. It does not negotiate with doubt. It does not beg for permission. It stands tall even when everything around it shakes. Your belief is the silent architect of your future. It is the foundation beneath the skyscraper you are meant to build. But most people never build it. Most people live as prisoners of what others told them to believe. Their parents told them they weren't enough. Their teachers told them success was for the chosen few. The world whispered, "Be realistic," and they listened. They became soldiers of someone else's vision. They built cages around themselves and called them reality. But reality is nothing more than belief made visible. The life you live now is the sum of the beliefs you accepted yesterday. If you want to change your life, you must first shatter the beliefs that built it. Look around you. Everything you see, the chair beneath you, the device in your hands, the road outside your window, all of it was once a thought in someone's mind. Once, a man looked at the sky and believed he could fly. The world laughed. They said it was impossible. But the Wright brothers didn't believe in the world's laughter. They believed in their wings. And the world changed. Once, a poor man named Lincoln believed that a nation divided by hate could be united. His belief shook history. Once, a man named Disney believed a mouse could make people dream again. And millions still do. These are not distant giants. They were flesh and bone like you. Their power did not come from magic. It came from belief turned into action. Action turned into momentum. Momentum turned into destiny. And here's the truth. You carry the same power they did. Your life is not a story written for you. It is a story written by you. Every moment, every breath, every thought is a stroke of the pen. But if you don't write, someone else will. And they will not write your greatness. They will write your obedience. So ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself when no one is watching? Do you believe you are capable of more? Do you believe your vision matters? Or have you accepted the lie that greatness is for others? If your belief is weak, your actions will be weak. If your belief is uncertain, your future will be uncertain. But if your belief is iron, if it burns in your chest like fire that never dies, then no storm can erase you. Discipline follows belief. Vision follows belief. Purpose is born in the fire of belief. The people who build the world do not wait for signs. They create signs. They wake up every morning not because life is easy, but because their belief leaves them no other choice but to rise. They carry themselves like kings before they ever wear a crown. They move like giants before the world calls them great. They live their belief before the world recognizes it as reality. You are no different. You are not less capable. The difference is in how loud your belief speaks. Some people's belief whispers and gets drowned out by fear. Others make their belief roar. and the universe listens to the roar. If you do not command your belief, doubt will own your future. If you do not feed it with vision, the world will feed you with excuses. And excuses build cages where dreams go to die. There is a reason every great mind in history spoke of belief with reverence. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." These are not pretty words. They are instructions for power. Conceive, imagine what is possible. Believe, hold it in your mind as if it's already yours. Achieve, act on it like someone who cannot lose. Most people get stuck between conceive and achieve because they never build belief strong enough to bridge the gap. They let fear eat their imagination alive. But fear is weak. Fear feeds on hesitation. And belief starves it. Every time you wake up and choose to see yourself as more than your past, your belief grows. Every time you choose action over excuse, your belief grows. Every time you move forward even when you're afraid, your belief grows. And one day, the world that doubted you will look up and call it luck. But you will know it wasn't luck. It was belief, quietly building your empire when no one was watching. There is a law in life. What you believe, you become. Not overnight. Not magically. But relentlessly. Belief is not an instant miracle. It's a daily war. A war between the version of you that dreams and the version of you that settles. A war between the voice that says I can and the voice that whispers you're not enough. And every choice you make tips the scale. When you choose discipline over distraction, you sharpen your blade. When you choose persistence over comfort, you build your shield. When you choose faith in your vision over the noise of the crowd, you win another inch of the battlefield. And inch by inch, belief becomes your armor. Some people wait for proof before they believe. Champions believe before the proof exists. They believe when the bank account is empty. They believe when the room is quiet. They believe when the dream looks impossible. Because they know, belief is the seed, reality is the harvest. And if the seed is planted deep enough, no storm can stop the spring. There will be days when your belief will be tested. When everything goes wrong. When your plans collapse. When the world laughs. When your friends don't understand. When your own mind tells you to quit. These are the days that forge giants. The weak see failure as the end. The strong see failure as a forge. Fire doesn't destroy iron. It makes steel. And belief forged in pain is stronger than belief built in comfort. The great ones don't rise because the world made it easy. They rise because nothing could make them stop. Edison failed 1,000 times before the light came. Ford was laughed at by experts who said cars would never replace horses. Walt Disney was fired from his first job for lacking imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. These names are carved into history not because they were born special, but because their belief didn't break when the world pushed. They didn't need the world to believe in them. They believed in themselves enough to move mountains. The truth is this: nobody is coming to save you. No one will hand you belief on a silver platter. No one will walk your path for you. If you want to change your life, if you want to rise above mediocrity, you must plant your own flag. You must look in the mirror and say, "This is who I am," and nothing will shake that. You must turn belief into blood. It must flow in your veins like oxygen. The greatest victories are not won on battlefields. They are won in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when you choose to keep believing. It happens in the gym when you push one more rep when no one cheers. It happens at midnight when you're still working while others sleep. It happens when you hold the line after the world has told you to quit. That's where belief becomes unbreakable. That's where empires are born. The world doesn't reward doubt. It rewards certainty. People follow those who believe. Opportunities flow to those who believe. Wealth grows in the soil of belief. Power bows to belief. And if your belief is louder than your excuses, the world has no choice but to bend. The question isn't whether you can. The question is whether you will believe. Will you stand tall when no one claps? Will you keep building when no one sees? Will you keep walking when the road gets long? Because if you do, if you refuse to let go of that fire, the world will eventually have to acknowledge it. Not because it wants to, because it must. When a human being begins to truly believe, something extraordinary happens. The world does not change instantly, but something inside does. The eyes sharpen. The spine straightens. The air feels different. Doubt may still be there, but it starts to lose its grip. You stop waiting for permission to live your dream. You stop asking for someone to open the door. You start building your own door, with your own hands, your own will, your own fire. You realize something so few ever do. Belief is not a feeling, it's a weapon. And it is the only weapon no one can take from you. The difference between those who build their life and those who are carried by life is this. The builders never wait for the storm to pass. They build in the storm. They believe in the storm. They command the storm. They understand that belief is not tested in comfort. It is forged in resistance. The same wind that breaks weak trees shapes the roots of the strong ones. So if life has thrown you into struggle, if you feel like the world has closed every door, understand this. Belief is not there to protect you from pain. It is there to turn pain into power. Every giant you admire was once standing exactly where you stand now. Uncertain, alone, unsure. Carnegie came from nothing. Edison worked through darkness. Lincoln rose from poverty. Disney lived in a garage. Ford was mocked. Jobs was doubted. Every legend was once a human with a fragile spark. But that spark grew into fire because they refused to let the world define what they believed about themselves. They learned to trust that voice deep inside, the one that says, keep going. And the moment you start listening to that voice, your world begins to shift. But hear me clearly, belief is not enough if it is not followed by clarity. A belief without direction is like fire without air. It burns fast and then disappears into smoke. You must give your belief a target. You must aim it like an arrow. Success does not come to those who believe vaguely. It comes to those who believe specifically. You must know where you are going, not just wish for a better tomorrow. You must design that tomorrow, shape it, name it, write it, own it. Close your eyes and picture your future. Not like a dreamer who hopes, but like a builder who knows. Where are you standing? What does your life look like? What does your success smell like, feel like, sound like? What kind of person have you become to earn it? That image isn't just imagination. It's your map. Napoleon Hill wrote about definite major purpose, a vision so strong, so defined, that it moves you like a compass through any storm. Without purpose, belief drifts like a boat without a sail. With purpose, belief becomes a force that can tear through oceans. People fail not because they lack power. They fail because they aim at nothing and hit it with precision. If you want to win, you must give your belief a battlefield. You must say, this is my vision. This is where I'm going. This is the life I will build. And then every decision, every hour, every breath must start bending toward that purpose. That is when the world starts moving for you. Clarity sharpens your vision, but discipline forges it into reality. Discipline is the bridge between belief and destiny. It is the quiet soldier that walks every day even when motivation is gone. Motivation is fragile. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline is steel. It stands even when you want to give up. That is why those who rely on motivation alone crumble. But those who build the fortress of discipline never fall. Discipline is not glamorous. It's waking up early when no one claps for you. It's working when no one is watching. It's choosing growth over comfort, again and again, until your habits carve your future into stone. Every morning when the alarm rings, you face a war. Not with the world. With yourself. The bed will whisper stay. Comfort will call you back. But your belief, if it's real, will whisper louder. It will say, get up, move, build. That small moment is where greatness is decided. Not in the spotlight. In the quiet war between your comfort and your calling. Champions choose calling. Ordinary people choose comfort. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It is how you prove to yourself that your belief isn't just words. Every action you take in silence becomes a brick in the empire you are building. A single day of weakness doesn't destroy it. But a pattern of surrender does. That's why discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up again and again, even when your body aches, even when your heart doubts, even when the results are nowhere to be seen. The world will not reward you for what you almost did. It will reward you for what you became through relentless action. The people who rise are not the ones who had everything handed to them. They are the ones who walked through nights of doubt and still kept building. They are the ones who learned to be alone with their vision when the world couldn't see it. They are the ones who wrote their names into time with blood, sweat, and discipline. There's a dangerous lie in the world, the lie of the easy road. It says, you can have everything without sacrifice. You can grow without pain. You can succeed without cost. It's a trap. It's how mediocrity keeps people asleep. Because true greatness demands payment. And the currency is your effort, your hours, your sweat, your nights, your discipline. You don't pay it all at once. You pay it every day, piece by piece, choice by choice. And one day, you look up and realize the world belongs to those who paid the price while others slept. Edison didn't invent in a weekend. Ford didn't build in a month. Lincoln didn't unite a nation in a single speech. Disney didn't create magic in a moment. They built their lives brick by brick, night after night, when no one believed but them. That is the power of belief married to discipline. It is unstoppable. And along the way, something else happens: resistance. The universe will test you, not to break you, to see if your belief is real, to see if your discipline is unshakable. Failure will come like a thief in the night. Doubt will creep in through the cracks. People will laugh. Circumstances will shift. Plans will collapse. Storms will rise. And in those moments, weak belief dies. But strong belief grows fangs. When resistance shows up, it is not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're walking the path most fear. It's a sign you're moving towards something worth fighting for. The great mistake people make is thinking the storm means they've failed. But the storm means they're alive. It means they've stepped out of mediocrity's safety net. You cannot grow without resistance. Muscles do not grow without pressure. Trees do not deepen their roots without wind. Diamonds are not born without fire. So the next time life pushes you, don't step back. Push harder. That is where your belief earns its name. That is where destiny starts to lean in your direction. People who stop at resistance never reach the peak. People who learn to smile in the storm, they become legends. There is a sacred power in resilience. Not in never falling, but in never staying down. Every time you rise, your belief sharpens. Every time you refuse to quit, your strength doubles. Every time you take a hit and keep moving, the world starts to bend, ever so slightly, to your will. The difference between the one who wins and the one who almost wins is not talent. It is the refusal to give up. Remember this: no one sees the years of resilience that build greatness. They only see the moment of glory. They see the man with the fortune, not the nights he spent broke. They see the athlete on the podium, not the hours of pain. They see the dream realized, not the war it took to earn it. But that war is where you will meet your true self. That war is where you become the person your future demands. Belief gives you the fire. Clarity gives you the direction. Discipline builds your empire. Resilience makes it unbreakable. And when all of that aligns, you stop being just a dreamer. You become inevitable. The world does not fear those who dream. It fears those who refuse to stop. It fears those who keep building when others rest. It fears those who believe so deeply that doubt itself grows quiet. That can be you. But only if you choose it. No one can give you belief. No one can give you resilience. You must carve it into yourself with every choice, every sacrifice, every step. The people who have built empires, the ones whose names are carved into history, they are not gods. They are not untouchable. They are humans who decided their belief was bigger than their fear. And now, it's your turn. The day you decide to live with purpose is the day your life stops drifting and starts moving. Purpose is the engine that turns belief into destiny. Without purpose, even strong belief eventually fades. But with purpose, your belief becomes a storm. It is what wakes you up when you are tired. It is what keeps you standing when others fall. It is what whispers keep going when the world goes silent. Purpose is the invisible thread that pulls great people toward their future even when they can't see the path. You don't need the whole map. You just need the fire to walk forward. There is a reason why the most powerful people in history spoke not only of what they did, but why they did it. Thomas Edison didn't just build a light bulb. He believed humanity deserved to banish the darkness. Henry Ford didn't just build cars. He believed ordinary men and women deserved the power of movement. Abraham Lincoln didn't just lead a divided nation. He believed in something higher than power, unity. Purpose isn't about personal comfort. It's about a vision so much bigger than your excuses that quitting becomes unthinkable. The reason so many people never rise is not because they don't have talent. It's because they never define their purpose. They live without aim, like a ship without a compass, carried wherever the current wants. But the few who rise, the few who change the world, they anchor themselves to a purpose so deep that no storm can tear it away. They don't wake up hoping for a good day, they create one. They don't wait for motivation, they build momentum. They don't ask for permission. They move with the authority of someone who knows where they are going. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand in the eyes of others. It only has to burn fiercely in yours. Maybe your purpose is to build a business that changes your family's future. Maybe it's to write something that touches lives long after you're gone. Maybe it's to prove to yourself that you were always more than the world told you to be. Whatever it is, make it sharp, make it real, make it something worth fighting for. Because once you do, you will stop being easily moved by the opinions of others. The moment you lock into purpose, distractions lose their grip. Temporary pleasures shrink. Cheap approval doesn't feed you anymore. You start to walk differently. You start to breathe differently. You start to become dangerous in the best way. The way of those who know who they are and where they are going. That kind of person bends reality around them. But purpose alone is not enough. You must learn to adapt. Life will not follow your script. Success will not come the way you imagine. You will fall. You will lose. You will face days that feel like a punch to the chest. And in those moments, the difference between the broken and the unstoppable is adaptability. The world belongs to those who adjust their sails, not those who curse the wind. Every great life is a dance between vision and adaptation. Vision gives you your direction. Adaptation helps you survive the terrain. If Edison had given up after his first failure, there would be no light. If Lincoln had quit when the country bled, there would be no union. If Jobs had stopped after being fired from his own company, the world would not have the devices that shape it today. Life will test your purpose to see if it is real. When plans break, the weak see failure as final. The strong adjust their grip and keep moving forward. You must be like water. Strong, unstoppable, adaptable. Water flows through stone not because it is loud, but because it is patient. It bends but never breaks. It finds another way when one path is blocked. That is how belief survives storms. Too many people quit because their plan failed. They forget the purpose wasn't the plan. The plan was just a bridge. When a bridge collapses, you build another. You keep walking. Because your purpose is not tied to a method. It's tied to your soul. But along this path of belief and purpose, there is another power few talk about, gratitude. Gratitude is not weakness. It is not soft. It is the anchor that keeps you from drifting when success starts to blind you. It's easy to be grateful when everything works. It's harder, and far more powerful, to be grateful when everything falls apart. Gratitude keeps your heart clean when the world throws dirt. It reminds you why you began. It keeps your ego from poisoning your belief. Every giant who stayed standing after success had gratitude in their bones. Carnegie gave back more than he earned. Lincoln stayed humble in victory. Edison never forgot the dark rooms that built his light. When gratitude lives in your chest, success doesn't control you, you control it. You rise not as a tyrant, but as a leader. And that is the kind of strength that lasts. But gratitude is not just saying thank you. Gratitude is choosing to see the seed in the storm. It's finding the lesson in the wound. It's seeing the power in the pain. It's knowing that even when the world hits you hard, it is giving you something you can turn into gold if you choose. Every hardship you've ever faced can be a weapon in your hands or a chain on your feet. Gratitude decides which it becomes. And when belief, purpose, adaptability, and gratitude walk together, something unstoppable happens. You become unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because you grow stronger. The things that used to scare you lose their bite. The people who doubted you lose their power. The noise around you fades, and your inner voice roars. There will be moments where everything seems against you. Moments where your heart will beg you to give up. Moments where it feels like nothing is working. But remember this, every great breakthrough in history was born in the dark before the dawn. The night before victory always feels the longest. That's when most people quit. That's why so few rise. They surrender in the final stretch, never realizing how close they were to the light. If you can hold on just a little longer when the world says stop, you'll see what others never see. If you can trust your belief when no one else does, you'll walk where others never walk. If you can carry your purpose like a torch through the wind, one day, that light will ignite everything around you. And when that moment comes, the world will call it sudden. They'll say you got lucky. They'll say it was overnight. But you will know the truth. It wasn't luck. It wasn't overnight. It was belief. It was purpose. It was the nights no one saw. It was the mornings no one applauded. It was the storm that tried to break you and failed. The road to greatness is not straight. It twists, it turns, it climbs through storms and shadows. It tests you in silence and screams at you when no one else can hear. And in those long stretches where the world feels like it has forgotten your name, where your progress is invisible to everyone but your own reflection, that is where the true war is fought. Not with your hands, with your mind, with your belief. In the stillness of those nights, the voice of doubt grows loud. It whispers that it would be easier to go back. It promises comfort in exchange for surrender. And this is the moment that separates those who almost become from those who do. The strong do not silence doubt by wishing it away. They face it. They stare into its cold eyes and say, "You will not win." They keep walking forward, not because the path is clear, but because they refuse to turn around. This is what every great figure in history understood. Thomas Edison did not succeed because the path was easy. He succeeded because every time failure knocked him down, his belief stood him back up. Abraham Lincoln did not hold a fractured nation together because he was unafraid. He held it because his vision was stronger than his fear. Henry Ford did not put the world on wheels because he had certainty. He did it because he walked through uncertainty with unshakable purpose. Walt Disney didn't build magic because the world believed in him. He built it because he believed when the world laughed. That is the secret no one wants to admit. It was never about luck. It was never about talent alone. It was about belief so strong it refused to die. A belief that marched through storms while others waited for clear skies. A belief that didn't ask for proof before acting. A belief that became reality because it never gave up. Every time you take another step when it hurts, you grow roots that no wind can rip out. Every time you choose to believe when the world calls you foolish, your spirit sharpens. And every time you fight through the dark, light grows closer, even if you can't see it yet. The world will test you not because it hates you, but because greatness demands proof of your will. The universe doesn't hand its crown to the faint-hearted. It gives it to those who bleed for their purpose, who build with their bare hands, who burn their fear and turn it into power. It gives it to those who act like kings before anyone calls them one. But here's the truth few understand. True belief is not loud. It does not need to prove itself to anyone. True belief walks quietly, with fire beneath its feet. It does not argue with doubters. It outlives them. It does not boast to the world. It builds a world. True belief doesn't scream. It creates. And when your belief reaches this point, when it is no longer fragile, when it no longer depends on applause, when it no longer cracks under rejection, you become unstoppable. Because no one can take from you what lives inside you. No setback can break what is forged in conviction. The world is built by people who refuse to wait. People who planted seeds in storms and believed in the harvest before a single sprout broke the soil. They saw what no one else could see. They moved when everyone else froze. They kept working in silence until the noise became their name. That is how revolutions are born, not in crowds, but in the quiet fire of one mind that refuses to bow. But as your power grows, as your belief becomes iron, there will be another test, the test of pride. The world will bow to you, and if you are not careful, pride will try to steal the crown you bled to earn. Pride whispers the same lie to kings as it does to the fallen: you no longer need to grow. Pride blinds giants. It kills empires from within. That is why the truly great never stop learning. Carnegie kept learning even as he built industries. Lincoln kept reading, thinking, evolving even as he led a nation. Ford never stopped questioning how to improve the machine that made him rich. Walt Disney dreamed bigger after every success. The strong know that the greatest danger is not failure, it is comfort. Because comfort breeds decay. Your belief must be alive. It must keep growing. The day you stop feeding it with knowledge, discipline, and humility is the day it starts to rot. The strong remain students even when they become masters. They sharpen their mind like a sword. They study not because they doubt their worth, but because they know power without growth is temporary. Knowledge is not just information. It's transformation. It gives your belief precision. It turns fire into a laser. It gives you the tools to shape your destiny with intention. Every book, every lesson, every experience is another weapon forged for the war ahead. When you commit to learning, you become more than a believer, you become a force. And then comes the final layer, the crown jewel of all greatness, contribution. True belief does not end with you. It expands beyond you. It builds bridges for others. It lights torches in dark places. It becomes a legacy. Those who live only for themselves fade. Those who live with purpose for something greater are remembered. Edison gave light to the world. Lincoln gave unity. Carnegie gave opportunity. Ford gave motion. Disney gave dreams. These were not just men. They were rivers that flowed long after they were gone. And you too can be that. Your belief, if held long enough, if fed deeply enough, can become something that outlives your heartbeat. The universe respects the one who gives. When your belief turns outward, when your work starts lifting others, doors open you never imagined existed. The world bends to those who build for more than themselves. Because legacy is not built by selfish hands. It is built by souls who understood that their fire was meant to light more than their own path. So ask yourself, what will your belief give to the world? What bridge will you build? What light will you leave behind? When the final page of your story is written, will it be about a dreamer who gave up, or a warrior who built something eternal? Every choice you make today is writing that answer. Every step forward is carving your name into time. Every breath, every action, every moment matters. Because you are not just living a life, you are shaping a legacy. And here is the truth the world tries to hide. You already have everything you need. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need your belief, burning like fire. You need to feed it with purpose. Guide it with clarity. Strengthen it with discipline. Protect it with adaptability. Humble it with gratitude. Sharpen it with learning. And give it to the world like a gift too powerful to be ignored. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of fear. A version that is sharper, louder, stronger, unshakable. A version that doesn't ask the world to see its worth, it creates it. That version is not born from chance. It's forged by choice. By the choice you make right now. Do not let your story be one of almost. Do not let your fire die inside the walls of fear. Do not let your belief starve because the world doesn't feed it. Feed it yourself. Walk forward even if your steps tremble. Speak your vision even if your voice shakes. Build your legacy even if the world doubts. Because in the end, the world does not reward doubt. It bows to belief. This is your time. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Not when everything is perfect. Now. Because the greatest enemy of greatness is delay. The graveyard is filled with dreams waiting for the right time. But the giants of history did not wait for it. They made it.